Welcome to the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti, joined by track announcer Pete Aiello. Having a lot of fun here before we get on the air. We got a fast main track, firm turf course. Pete, we got a pretty nice carryover in the Rainbow Six. We're up to 10 races now for the rest of the week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday. We haven't drawn those races yet. Nice carryover, $20,000 plus, and a pretty hard sequence today.
Yeah, it's not easy. We steamroll towards Sunshine Millions preview day on Saturday afternoon. Stakes galore on Saturday. All of the South Florida contingent will be out in full force. Flutterby goes to post in the Philly and Mare race, as well as East Hall going long in the Sunshine Millions Classic. Big stakes-laden card on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and it's got 8 stakes we're going to be offering. They're all for Florida breds, and it's going to be a lot of fun in there. We got some juvenile races interspersed with the Millions preview day races. So that is on Saturday. Today is Thursday, as I mentioned, a 10-race card. Before we delve into this card this afternoon, we want to look out and see what's tweeting around the country, as they say, the old tweetosphere. First one, a horse that I remember here from Calder, when it was Calder, now and of course Gulfstream Park West. Ivan Alot and Rajiv Mirage actually tweeted this out.
That's cool that Rajiv Mirage tweeted it out because I agree with him completely. Ivana Vinalot carried the colors of Gil Campbell and trained by Kathleen O'Connell, based right here at Gulfstream Park West. Not only did she win the Sire Stakes races, she dominated the Sire Stakes races. Nice to see that she has a progeny that's doing as well as she did.
Yeah, Songbird dominated the juvenile fillies, won that race by about 6 lengths and stayed undefeated. Another tweet we want to talk about. Tickets, and these are the tickets that people bought for on American Pharoah for its final race, the Breeders' Club Classic. 21,500, not cash. They're saving them as a momentum, and they think they're going to be able to sell them a little later on. But if there's 21,000 of them already, it's going to be hard to get a price on them.
Well, I can tell you this: if I would have to hope that the majority of the folks who did that are sentimental enough to keep them for themselves, but I guess in anything anymore, especially with memorabilia, there's always a resale market.
Yeah, but it's nice to have it, and you put it on your wall if you frame it nicely with American Pharoah. And boy, does that horse deserve it. We talked about those races on Saturday, and one of those horses running is going to be Saragaro, and he's working strong. He won the Foolish Pleasure last time out, and he won it pretty nicely. He's going to be in the Classic, as you mentioned, behind East Hall. He looks on paper right now as the logical second choice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can back it up. He's had somewhat of a spotty form cycle. He runs big, and then he is expected to do it again, and has not been able to put back-to-back big efforts together. So we'll see if he's turned the corner, as it were. He's still only a 3-year-old, so definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and scored at double-digit odds last time out. I think he was 19-1 in that race or something like that. So that's just one of the 8 stakes races we'll have on Saturday afternoon. First post is 12:35 p.m. Pete, before we get started, people that buy the Handicapper use my analysis, my Legion of Fan out there. I want to tell everybody that there's a problem with the second half. The printers left Wednesday's selections, the second half of the card in there. So if you're buying the program, make sure that you get a copy that they made over.
Sounds like a plan, although it is always a great racing story when gentlemen win on the wrong program. That's happened a few times.
They'll look 5, 6, 7, and I'm sure enough it'll come in. That's what the racing gods usually do. Now we'll get to the Thursday card. As we mentioned, fast and firm. First race, 6 furlongs. These are Claimers fillies, 2-year-olds, 7 runners in the field. I went with the number 6 horse in here, and so did Pete, High and Queen. Dropping to this level today after dueling for the lead, weakening late to finish third behind Above Fashion, who finished second in a $100,000 stake at Delta in the next start. And the second place finisher, Can Do. That horse looks pretty impressive and won a $75,000 optional claimer in her next start. So coming out of a key race, stakes company last time out, dropping to this $20,000 level.
Well, that's good news and bad news all rolled up into one pitch there, because the good news is that she looks like much the best horse. The bad news is what's she doing in for $20,000. That's the caveat here, and you have to take odds on in the first. For me, she's the best horse. There's no way around her. But from a gambling opportunity, you'll have to see what you can come up with underneath.
Well, you also used the number 3 in there, and that is King of Jack.
Yeah, the 3, King of Jack, she was very, very green in her debut, but it didn't stop her from winning by open lengths. She beat just an okay field, but that's really the rule here rather than the exception, which even flatters High End Queen even more, because these horses that are coming out of the maiden ranks are coming out of some pretty weak races, including the race inside with Drama Princess, and then, of course, you can't use the 1, although you did, White Knuckle Ride, in from New Jersey for the first time. So for me, it's actually somewhat of a cold punch. 6-3.
You can't use the 1. A White Knuckle Ride, number 1, is like doing a show with with Pete here, a white knuckle ride. This one's going to face winners locally after rallying between horses. Defeat $20,000 maidens at Monmouth on September 5th. Pete, the flag should be out. Never bet a horse. Coming in from Monmouth, first time at Gulfstream Park West. Eddie Plessis Jr. This apprentice looks pretty nice on the horse, Vincente Guidel.
Let me ask you a question. This is your Pete's trivia for the day. How many horses so far at the Gulfstream Park West meeting have invaded from New Jersey and won over the main track their first time over it?
4.
How about 0? So Pete's angle is very much intact. It's hard to win over this surface if you've never been over it. It's magnified even more if you're coming in from a track like Monmouth Park, which is a completely different composition than the track here in South Florida. A lot more sand in South Florida, and that's not just on the beach.
Well, you saw that it picked the horse third.
Well,
that's what I was saying. So, I mean, there's a chance the horse, we have exacta trifecta. We got the exciting rolling super high fives throughout the afternoon. A horse that you might want to put on the ticket might not win. And Pete's absolutely right, making fun of him. It's really good to have a race over this track or train over this track. Those horses seem to move forward. Race number 2, 1 mile on the turf. Claimers, fillies advanced 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, $10,000. Scratched the one, Basting Garden. Also scratched the main track onlys number 9 and number 10. And I can't believe it, but Pete and I are in agreement 2 races in a row.
I'm shaking
Take
my
it away
with
the 5 Caribbean Princess.
Karma's not on our side early in the day. We'll have to see if the gloves come off later. Number 5, Caribbean Princess, is a tepid selection for me. She's a horse that did not get an optimum setup in her last race. She did not look comfortable at all to me in that last race. I think I can draw a line through it and excuse it. If I do that, she's definitely one of the best horses in here. Edgar Zayas gets the return call. She is 1 for 19. That's the bad news. The good news is that she's been holding up her form pretty well.
I didn't know what to do with the 2 Lying Eyes, and I'll tell you why. Making the 3rd start in just 15 days in her 2nd outing since beating ahead versus $12,500 2 lifetime foes just 5 days ago. So that's 3 races in 15 days. On paper, to me, looks like the one to beat. I'm worried about the 3 races in that short span, so I put it on the ticket, but I'm not sure that this horse, might be able to offer its best with that short turnaround. It seems to run okay. The horse that I made my long shot last week and disappointed me is the number 4, Ela, who you have in 2nd. Changing barns today, going to Tommy Shell's barn.
Well, the thing about Ela that got my attention is that, in my opinion, and you can chastise me all you want because it's my opinion, but Antonio Gallardo, one of the best grass riders, not only in South Florida, in my opinion, in North America. He does very, very well over the turf course. He's coming back here after a successful season up north in Cleveland at Thistle and at Erie, Pennsylvania at Presque Isle. He's headed to Tampa to defend his riding title there. The guy's no slouch. He's really good on the grass. When taking over here the riding assignment here this afternoon, she moves up a few lengths because of the Gallardo factor for me. And if you move her up a couple lengths, she fits pretty good in here.
What about the 6 Ansiedad, who you put on your ticket?
Well, I think it was just more of a best of the race scenario. Lying Eyes is not a horse that I've had any confidence in, so I'm going to try to beat her again here this afternoon. Although I did like that she turned the corner pretty nice. She broke her maiden over this course, and then, as you said, Ronnie, she came back to run well against winners, losing in the final jump to Longshot Tartaletta.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. 6 furlong starter allowance of filly and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The level is $12,500. Unpublished work on the 6 horse in here. Decimaro having top. That was right here, Gulfstream Park West. 50 flat breezing on Halloween. That's October 31st. Pete will tell you about how to think what day it was.
Thank you for that.
Right. Number 6, Decimar, I'll start, is making her first start since drawing away to defeat a trio of next out winners. And a $12,500 2 lifetime claim is going 7 furlongs. Was back on September 20th. I just mentioned the workout. I'd like to see that there was a work there. Trainer Gustavo Delgado, Eddie Castro named to ride. Just a key race angle for me.
You're not a fan of that angle, are you? The key race, you don't use that on a regular
I use
basis.
it every day. I love it.
I was being somewhat sarcastic.
Oh, you are.
I guess my sense of humor was as dry as the air is today.
Well, I'm Crazy for You is the horse that you have on top.
Fans, that's what you call a great segue. Number 4, I'm Crazy for You, going out for trainer Kathleen O'Connell. Jockey Vicente Gudel riding here this afternoon. Second start off an extended vacation. For me, every horse in this race has questions that they need to answer here today. The question for I'm Crazy for You is, can she be as effective as she was over the wintertime at Tampa? She should be better now, second start of the form cycle.
Number 7, Gato Dorado, should be part of the pace scenario again after returning from a layoff to duel for lead F8 to finish 6th last out. And I just think the screws could be tight in second race off the bench today. And number 7, Gato Dorado. You also use the number 5 in here. Trust your intuition.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about her because I want to give you some information that's not readily available to you regarding number 5, Trust Your Intuition. She was very, very fractious last time out. She broke through the front of the stall door that afternoon. So if you hold that race against her, you do so at your own risk. She was impressive, and I mean impressive, when she debuted at the $10,000 maiden level. She didn't win like a $10,000 maiden. She then came back to run against Spectacular Flash, who's in later on the card, and is accorded an opportunity against much tougher than these. So if I can draw a line through her last race, which I'm going to, because she was fractious, and she was pretty bad washed out as well, if she's a little more settled here this afternoon, she has a big look.
That is race number 3 this afternoon. Let's flip the page and go to race number 4 and go back to the turf course. 1 mile, these are claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or 3-year-olds, $8,000. Scratch the main track onlys, number 10 and number 11. We want to go back and show you performance. A horse I did not use on the ticket, used in third, Pete, and that is Tell Me a Joke, who was 6 wide on the turn en route to finishing 3rd last time out.
Yeah, Tell Me a Joke has been doing some pretty good work. Tell Me a Joke finished 3rd last time out, as you touched on, Ronnie. Horse just ran okay, though. Was spun out very wide on the course and tried to track down the leaders. The leaders didn't really fold up shop. The winner's Hudson Miracle, who's coming up the inside lane. Over the top there is Tell Me a Joke. He's a horse that definitely puts in a good run, but he's only got 2 victories to his credit. He's 2 for 23, but he's definitely reliable if you're a exotic player. Supers and tries, definitely the way to use with Tell Me a Joke.
Yeah, I looked at him, and I think I might add him to my super high 5 ticket, but I did go with the number 3 in here, Royal Rogue, his claiming tag sliced in half today after returning from a freshening to track the pace and finish 6th behind a Pete winner called Minecraft. That was a $16,000 condition claimer at this distance. The trainer's Dave Casson. Love the work he's been doing. Jonathan Gonzalez in the saddle this afternoon.
Well, let me ask you a question. You did not use Escondido, the number 9 horse in that race. Is that pretty much accurate?
Yes.
All right. Well, here's why I brought that up. Royal Rogue was defeated by probably about 5.5 lengths to a horse named Symphony 41. Symphony 41 went favored earlier this week and lost to, that's right, Escondido. So if I don't like Escondido, which I don't on the quick return, 4 days rest for Escondido, I can't use a horse that lost to a horse that Escondido beat.
That's a long way of saying you didn't like my selection in there.
Well, I'm at least backing it up with facts.
Okay.
It's always important to be factual when we're on this telecast. And I can be factual that I like Fancy Henry. He likes this course. He's 2 for 2 over this course in the exacta. He's coming off a bit of a freshman, gets a rider switch from the apprentice John Cruz to jockey Rafael Hernandez. I like the way this horse has held his form. He's not been my favorite horse over the last couple of seasons, but he does run very, very well. I think he should be well freshened for this assignment, and he gets back on a course that he definitely has shown an affinity for. And I know we probably sound like a broken record, whether it's Ron, Katie, or myself. From a tactical standpoint, he's the horse with the right running style. He'll lay about 4 or 5 lengths off the lead. That's what's been winning races on this turf course.
Number 8, Put Some Back, is stepping up to the next level after stalking early and drawing clearly to defeat. $8,000 2 lifetime claim, his first ever race on the turf. That was after 13 starts on the main track. Certainly showed an affinity for running on the grass there. You have it in second, I have it in third.
Yeah, because I don't know what to make of his last race. He ran very, very well. He looked dead beat to me going around the far turn, kicked on to win it. The question is, what did he beat? But by the same token, he's improved vastly on his moving to the turf. If he can take his game to the next level, and with the surface switch, who's to say he can't?
And
be a shot here.
Sorry, Pete, you also used the number 1, Tell Me a Joke.
Yeah, you saw the backtrack. He's good for a minor slice.
Yeah. Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon. This is where the Rainbow Six kicks in. We mentioned $20,000 plus in that pool. 5 1/2 furlongs. These are maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratch the number 1, Joey 6-pack, and the number 2 horse in here, Baduk. And we're going to go back and show you performance of a Partagas Way, who was game of defeat last time out when beating a lamp at this level and distance. Again, he re-rallied along the rail last time out. You can see him on the inside in here, and he just makes, I thought, a pretty nice performance. You'll see him coming up on the inside along the rail. He finished third. He only ends up getting beat a length in this race, and I just thought off that performance, like Pete had mentioned earlier, one of these horses, we have these exotic wages that you might want to put on the ticket. I thought this was a pretty nice performance by the number 3 horse in there on the inside. Partagas Way. Did use it on my ticket. Pete, I do not know if you used it on your ticket.
No, I made like Peyton Manning and passed on Partagas Way because I just didn't like that last race. Yes, he ran well, but if you saw that backtrack, everybody was in with a shot there, and the favorite Nook had every opportunity to get beaten there and just rose to the occasion. Not necessarily because he was much the best horse, just because the cream rose to the top, so to speak.
Well, I was mad that there were 2 scratches in this race because my long shot was in this race, and I love this horse today, and that was the 5. Mr. Awesome Act is making his second career start. He went up, he set the pace, he faded, he finished 9th, but it was a fruitful $25,000 maiden sprint on September 20th that has produced 4 next out winners from 8 starters. 4. That's 50%. And Kathleen O'Connell, excellent with horses making their second start. Just what this horse is doing, coming out of a monster key race. Eduardo Nunez in the saddle, that's her go-to guy, was 8-1 on the morning line. I thought maybe I'd get a price. I don't think so with the 2 scratches.
Well, here's even the better news for Mr. Awesome Act is that unless my top play has a little lick, which I'm not expecting that he will, being out of a dispersal mare by Imperialism, this horse will be on the chooch here, the number 5, Mr. Awesome Act, sending right to the top if I was Eduardo Nunez, and as you said, the ultimate key race.
The ultimate key race. 50% of the winners coming out of there. So number 6, Mr. Shipman, a horse we both used in second, is dropping to the $25,000 level on the main track after chasing the pace. Fading late when finishing 6th in that race. It was against $50,000 maidens, going 5/8 on the Gulfstream Park turf. It's trainer George Navarro. He's strong with the grass to dirt angle over the 25%. He's good with all those different angles. And I just thought if this horse, number 5, Mr. Awesome Act, doesn't prove that key race is the monster key race I think it is, a horse like number 6, Mr. Shipman, you got to add somewhere on your ticket.
Well, for me, this race is all about improving. Horses are going to have to take their form to the next level. And because of that, I went for what I like to call the fresh face and a stale bunch angle with the 4 King Cool. This is a first-time starter. We don't know what he can do. The other 2 first-time starters have been withdrawn in this race. So you actually have to look at the form of the existing runners. The 3 Iced Coffee was 3-1 on debut and didn't make the course. The 5, coming out of that key race, was still only beat 1 home. Nobody else in here, even Partagas Way. He's the only other horse to hit the board in here, but I don't like the races he comes out of. So for me, I defaulted to the first-timer. I get Gallardo, too, so that's no problem with me.
Is he as good on the main track as on the turf?
The guy is good. I mean, you don't get to see it much in South Florida anymore because, he actually took his game to the next level when he moved to Tampa and then went north. And then, this is the kind of tweener time for him. Like you guys like Paco and Joe Bravo, they're working vacation for the next couple of weeks until the championship meet starts. With Antonio, it's a working vacation until Tampa starts. But the guy is good. Pay strict attention.
Well, let's go to race number 6 because we are not on a working vacation here. And this is 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life. $8,000. Scratch the 3 in here. Up and left. Like the 4 in here, Radamel, and I'll tell you why. Drop into this $8,000 level after following the commanding $12,500 maiden score at the distance. Goes up, he duels for the lead, he weakens to finish 7th against $16,000 2 lifetime claimers. He is the speed of the speed in here. You mentioned that it's not been favorable on the turf course, but we have had winners that have an advantage like this, at least in my estimation, that can go up there. And we've had winners win on the front end when it's a horse like number 4, Radamel. So I put this one on top of my ticket.
Well, it's also 5/8, which to me is not even really a consideration when you're looking at a bias. 5/8 is 5/8. It is what it is. However, I would like to make a side wager with you, sir. I have number 6, Redamite, on top. You have him second, so this is the side wager race of the day for me. I will give you a length and a half. I'm even going to give you a margin here. I'll give you a length and a half to 6 against the 4.
You
4
got
Pancakes.
it. Write it down, Andrew. Length and a half. That's Redamite.
Redamite will beat Radamel by at least a length and a half. Redamite coming out of a pretty good race. K.C. Wegman did something that nobody had done going 5/8 over this turf course. He circled the field 6 wide while last early and won going away. Redamite tried to come up the inside lane that day, ended up running on for 2nd. So all he has to do is run back to his last race, and to me, he's a very, very easy winner.
I absolutely did not know what to do with the number 2 clear status, so I put it in 3rd, and I see you put it in 2nd, dropping a notch on the competition scale after returning from a 364-day layoff to finish a 5-wide 5th against solid 12-5 claimers, 2 lifetime claimers, Gustavo Delgado, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. I like that 300. I could only add when it's like 1 day difference from the 365 to 364. You just subtract 1.
Well, it's very good to know. Excellent handicapping information there. Clear Status making his second start off of an extended vacation. I think that's more to the point of the story. 3-1 last time out. He didn't run very well. The winner was the odds-on favorite in Super Secret. I gave him another look here just based on default. I don't trust Radamel. He's folded up shop too often for me. And for third, just to show you how little confidence I have in anybody underneath in here, number 5, Don't Stop Back, coming in for Eddie Broom. First start from New Jersey, but that's okay, fans. It's on turf. Does not count if we're on the turf.
Oh, it doesn't count. See, there's always rules he's got. Race number 7 this afternoon. Anybody else in the 6? Well, I flipped a page here.
Well, you can flip it. Is this where, are we into your analysis where the fans need to take extra close attention?
Yes,
Because,
yes.
okay.
These are the wrong, from the 6th on, where that was on the second side. So that last one was the first race on that page. And as I mentioned, if you do follow my analysis, you can pick up a copy. It's right online. Everything is right online. Just the print guys put the wrong page in there. So the programs, and they have copies made up. That's races 6 through 10. Second part of my analysis.
Gulfstreampark.com for all your handicapping needs. My selections, Ronnie's analysis, as well as the selections of Katie Stazak as well.
Yeah, a fun site. It's really good. You can go up there each and every day, read my analysis, read Pete's picks, and you understand why we do not agree a lot. Race number 7, 6 furlongs, claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or a race in 6 months, or 3-year-olds, 30,000 down to 25,000. The title's longer than some of the horses in the race here, but it's a good race. I went with the number 3 horse in here, Miss Deja Vu, and this is the only 6-time winner in the field. Back in the Kerry Savage barn, makes her first start since drawing away to defeat Siller. That was a $20,000 condition claimer on September 7th. The barn is really good with this type of freshen. I love the work that Kerry Savage does when he ships in from Chicago. 6-time winner. I had to go with that angle with the number 3, Miss Deja Vu. Actually, the morning line favorite in there. Pete, you went with the number 5 in Black Air.
Yeah, because I think this race projects to fall apart. Miss Deja Vu does her best work on the lead. Make no mistake about it. She won that last race because she was simply the best horse. Here today, she has to deal with the 2 How's My Gold and the New Jersey Invader, the 7 Chat Hills. You know already that Chat Hills is not part of my play in this race, so I have to default to a closer. Black Air is a 2-time course winner over this racetrack. She's making her second start off a pretty good layoff as well. I think she'll be better than she was the last time. Well, she wasn't really accorded much of an opportunity, but she didn't run bad. She didn't disgrace herself, and she does her best work from well off the speed. If there's ever a pace scenario that favors Black Air, today's the day. The price will be right. This is the race where I think there'll be an upset.
Number 6, Spectacular Flash, who we both have in second. Second beaten a length by Miss Deja Vu back on September 27th. Renews that rivalry again after kicking clear to defeat $20,000 2 lifetime claimers. Won that race by over 4 lengths. It's Ralph Nix, Tyler Gaffalione returning on this lightly raced, consistent daughter of Mineshaft.
The thing about Spectacular Flash that I like is that she runs about as well as the bettors expect her to. She's never really had to surprise anybody, and she's never disappointed anybody. So to me, she looks like she has a chance today, and she's been running well when she's been looked like she has a chance. She's honest. I mean, I guess I'm being a little verbose there. She's honest. She runs well, and she should also trip out pretty well. She'll get first run on a horse like Black Air, but she'll also be in striking distance of a horse that will be in front, Miss Deja Vu.
Tell me about Muchima.
Well, Mochima draws an outside gate. She's also making her second start off the layoff, and to me, she's another one that will be able to stalk the early duel. To me, I think it's Chat Hills, Miss Deja Vu, and How's My Gold from the inside. Figueroa has no choice with How's My Gold. I don't necessarily think she needs the lead, but from an inside gate with the speed just to your outside, what are you going to do? You don't want to get shuffled back and buried on the inside. That projects well for Mochima, who has an outside gate. Carlos Olivero has the call here. He has won on Mochima. It was back in February during the Champions Meet. So prices for me here. She was one of them. Black Air was another, and then even Spectacular Flash. Miss Deja Vu wins. I lose. If you want to get double or nothing, here's the spot.
We'll be doing that too. Mark that down there, Andrew. Let's go to race number 8, 1 mile on the turf. Maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $50,000. Jockey change on the number 6, Little Paul. Make the run at Jeffrey Sanchez. Joe Bravo will not be riding this afternoon. And want to go back and show you performance. We're going to point out Handicapping, who gets bothered at the start, but there's a couple other horses in this race that we want to talk about.
Yeah, please watch Little Paul's race. Little Paul was about 7.5 lengths the best by my estimation last time. Little Paul shuffled back to last. So was Handicapping. That's Little Paul in the red cap, was already dropped to last. Handicapping tried to stay up in there. Little Paul in the red cap, Handicapping on the outside. You watch it and draw your own conclusions. Little Paul green on the inside, Handicapping professional on the outside. Watch this, though. Sanchez is going to try to thread the needle, and if he gets through, he wins. But nope. Not happening. Handicapping coming over the top. Meanwhile, Game Prize got first run. That was a perfect setup for the winner that day. Game Prize tracked the leaders who went too fast too soon, got first run on the closers, and then held them off. For me, Little Paul is definitely the play out of that backtrack versus Handicapping, but I think they both have a chance here.
Oh, yeah, and I also used the number 9 on top of my ticket. I just wanted to show you that performance. That's two-step time, but you have the 9 on your ticket, too, so that's poised for a winning performance. I'm talking about the 9 after a promising debut at this level and distance in which he tracked the pace 4 wide, finished third. Mike Maker, been on fire. I think he won the last 3 stakes races here, and I just thought this horse, we've been talking about horses that trip out. This horse looks like he's going to run perfectly in here, and, you got him on the ticket, so I had him on top, but Handicapping, and I had, Little Paul on my ticket, too.
Little Paul, my best bet of the afternoon, fans. Little Priscilla had a similar form cycle yesterday, had 1 race, ran on with some interest. Little Paul was much the best last time out. All he has to do is mentally take a step forward. He doesn't even need to physically run any better, just mentally take a step forward. The blinkers go on. He's my best bet on the afternoon. Little Paul or bust for me.
Well, we'll see how that works out. Anything else as we go to race number 9?
Well, the 7 Long Gun gets a rider switch here to veteran reinsman Jose Caraballo. That should move him up here. He was had no race place to go while fractious early on. He's another one that just has to mentally improve to be a big factor here. He lost to 2-step time. So between the 4 of our picks, they've all ran against each other. Handicapping ran against Little Paul, and 2-step time ran against Long Gun.
Let's go to race number 9. 6 furlongs, allowance, optional claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $62,500. A horse I didn't use, but I don't know if I know you used it, Peter, not. I'm talking about the 2, Hanalei Haley. Really good connections here with David Fox, Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle, 10-1 on the morning line. Dueled early and shook loose at the top of the stretch to draw off to win a victory. This was 2 starts back.
Yeah, Hanalei Haley is a horse that she ran all right. She was actually well accorded in her first couple of races. She was second as a 5-2 favorite in February of 14 when in the Todd Pletcher barn. She's owned by the Stone Street Stables. Interestingly enough, I'll give you some more. We were talking about it earlier on the program about Stallion Stakes winners over this racetrack that have sired horses. The dam of this horse, Ms. United States. Upset the field at a big price. I remember she was the 2 horse and she was at least 30-1. That was the finals of the Stallion Stakes, Miss United Stakes. A stakes winner over this course. Hanalei Haley has had 1 trip over the course. She comes out of the same race as Black Air does earlier in the day, so maybe that's a good way to gauge it. For me, she rated underneath only.
I thought we'd have a video there, but did not show it. So Hanalei Haley, a horse you might want to put somewhere on your ticket. There you go. Now it's coming up a little late, but better late than never. And there you're going to see that performance of Hanalei Haley shaking loose. And as I mentioned, drawing off sloppy afternoon that day. So Hanalei Haley, a horse they did not use in the ticket. The reason I wanted to point it out, we have the rolling super high 5s in here. A horse I think that you might want to add somewhere just on the connections alone.
Well, the blinkers go on here this afternoon. She does get her second trip over the surface. There are some things to like, but for me, there's some more things to like about some other horses in here.
Well, I went with the 3, Sunset Silhouette, after all of that. This one gets the tepid nod. I think this is a wide open race. Cutting back today to 3/4 of a mile. 15 races at this distance. 3 wins, 3 seconds, 3 thirds after rallying to finish 4th behind Classy Flutterby, who's going to be an odds-on choice on Saturday, and the Breeders' Cup participant, and that was Kiss to Remember. That was in the 7 furlong, $75,000 added elegance. So getting turning back, I think it's a wide open affair. I think this horse has a decent shot in there.
I agree with you completely that this race is wide open. However, my statement comes with an asterisk, and that is this race is completely wide open if Sky Gold does not bring her A game. If she brings her A game, she's too good for these. But that's the gamble here.
Right.
She comes in from New York. She was tried in graded stakes company in the Prioris at Saratoga. But if you go back and watch any of her South Florida races, they were very, very impressive races. And all she has to do is bring her A game to win this race. Will she? That's the question. She makes her debut for Antonio Sano. That's good news as far as I'm concerned. But she's never been over this surface. She hasn't been back in South Florida for all that long. And we'll see how she does here this afternoon. But for me, I had to go with her.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have her on a ticket for all the reasons you mentioned in there. Did go with the 3. You also have on a ticket. And I want to mention is one, Scuba Sue, who's shipping in from Monmouth Park this afternoon. This one is stepping up the competition after ending her campaign at Monmouth. That's up in New Jersey with a hard-fought $20,000 optional claiming score at this distance. Another horse that I believe you got to have somewhere on your rolling super high-five ticket.
Say that with a straight face, sir.
I'm using it. It's on my selections. There's no, that's it. Let's go to the final race of the day here.
I rest my case, fans.
It's tough up here. 10th race, 7.5 furlongs on the grass, 3 and up. Non-winners of a turf race since May 5th. That is 6 months. Scratch the main track only. Number 11, Palatine Hill. I went with the 5 in here. March Reward, who you have in second. Claiming tag today sliced in half, drops into this non-winners of a race in 6 months field after coming within a neck of defeating $16,000 open claimers, going 7.5 furlongs here last time out. This looks like a really good spot for number 5, March Reward.
Sure does. I mean, it's pretty simple. If he runs back to his last 2 races, he wins. But there's one thing to consider about that. In his last 2 races, he's got such perfect trips. Can he keep getting lucky with his trips? I mean, you don't get a better trip than he did 2 starts ago. And then last time out, he got a pretty darn good trip himself, losing to Metz, who was a game winner that afternoon. If he runs back to his last 2 races, they're running for second money. But I have to hope he gets in trouble and use a horse that's won over this course more than anybody else in here. The One Fan Base is a 5-time course winner. He's not as good as he used to be, but what is this? How does the Toby Keith song go, Ronnie? I'm not as good as I once was, but all I need to do is be once better than I ever was, or something like that. Point is, if he brings his A game, they will be running for second money.
Blinkers off this afternoon.
I have to think of that song. No, not at all. I think Fan Base is a horse that he's obviously coming in from New Jersey, so I was hoping for a little dagger there, but it is on turf, and this is so that doesn't count. And again, he's 5 for 10 wins over this course. He has an inside gate, and Orlando Boca Chica has the call. The only question for Fan Base with the blinkers off, what are the tactics here? Can you get him to rate a little bit?
Number 3, Average Pride, 3 for 3 in the money on the Gulfstream Park West turf. Moved to the Diane Marici Bond via the claim, goes back to the grass after returning from a layoff. Defeated 6,250 non-winners of a race in 6 months. Claimers going a mile on the dirt. Horse has shown that it likes to run on this turf course. Thought it was a horse that you can throw somewhere on the ticket today. I'm not too enamored with the 3-to-1 morning line. I thought it'd be more of a price.
Yeah, I think he'll take money. He's been taking money. He was expected to win last time out. If you're a multi-leg player, I think you probably try to beat him on that morning line. But if you're a player of the super high 5 or even the $5 Quinellas, this is your $5 race of the day. And that wager, I think that this horse can be used. I remembered the line, though. It's, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Well, I remember one song from Patsy Cline called Crazy. So that is how we see the Thursday afternoon card. It's going to be a lot of fun, as you can tell already. We've been having fun up here. Got a couple of side wagers today. Good luck with all your selections. Pete, any closing words?
Well, good luck, I guess. You'll